Let's move on, because we have a list of the highest paid managers at Copa America, and there are some big numbers on this list and some names that might not be in the top 10. Oh, do we get all the way down there to 12? Okay, yes, we did. Number 1 on the list, Marcelo Bielsa, of course, the manager at Uruguay. He's on $4 million a year. Again, these are reported salaries. Where did we see this? In Medio Tiempo and Record. Yeah, as well. Gregg Berhalter in there at number 9 on the list. He's at $2.2 million in salary. And Jaime Lozano of Mexico, $1.8 million a year, all the way down there at number 12. Herc, what do you think? Jaime Lozano and Gregg Berhalter, dare we say they're underpaid?
Well, when you look at this list, certainly, if I was Gregg Berhalter, I would be on the line right now with my agent, like what's going on. And it could be circumstantial as far as his
second contract, too, by the way.
Second contract. Yeah, the way he
took
took over, maybe it's circumstantial. Maybe he had to take lesser money in order to get the team, that type of thing. With Jaime Lozano, it makes sense. Jaime Lozano didn't have much of a track record as a first division manager to say. Querétaro, Necaxa weren't quite, moments where he showered himself in glory. He took over as an interim coach, proved his worth at the Gold Cup, the B tournament, if you will, and he gets a $1.8 million contract, albeit that is net, whereas Gregg Berhalter's 2.2 gross. And I know that because the financial records are there by the USSF, the U.S. Soccer Federation, but certainly Gregg Berhalter will feel a little bit undone when you see some of the names on this list. I mean, I told you about Dorival Jr. and him being a journeyman coach, if you will. It's a lot of money, even though Brazilian football has a lot of money. How about Fernando Batista, who was essentially the assistant coach to Jose Peckerman? Peckerman leaves and stays with the team because he had the under-23 team, and now he's got a pretty good contract. You can see some of these guys who make some good money. If you're Gregg Berhalter, you'd be saying, wait, what's going on here? How come there are less proven coaches who haven't had the success I've had at the national team level who make more? Again, maybe his pay is circumstantial, the way he took the team over, the situation with the federation, et cetera, but certainly on this list, I think Gregg Berhalter can have a claim here stating he deserves more.
Yeah, Jesse Marsch wasn't on the list. I guess we don't have his reported number yet. I think I heard it was somewhere between 2 and 3, so that would put him anywhere between 5 and 10 in this list, but would show you that there's some significant investment there from the Canadian Federation. I think, Herc, when I look at both these numbers, if anybody has an underpaid argument, it's definitely Berhalter over Lozano, but it screams to me a lack of ambition from both of these federations. You're getting outspent by Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, Paraguay, Chile, Uruguay. Uruguay has, what, 4 million people in the country? Mexico City has 30 million people in the greater area of Mexico City. And Mexico can't outspend these countries. We know Mexico's talent pool isn't competitive with these countries. The only way to hack back at that difference right now in an immediate sense is to hire a manager that makes you competitive, and they want to spend $1.8 million on an unproven Jaime Lozano. U.S. fans might have a slightly different complaint about Gregg Berhalter, but they're coming up on the biggest World Cup ever in U.S. soccer history. And the Federation's only willing to spend $2.2 million on the national team manager? I mean, swing for the fences a little bit, guys. Come on.
Yeah, honestly, I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't know what the situation is with the men's and women and how much you can pay one coach and not pay the other. But certainly when you look at top-level coaches on the men's side and how much they make, if you want to compete with some of those, for some of those best coaches, it's not going to be with $2.2 million.
Yeah. Any limitations, by the way, that U.S. Soccer has there are of their own doing. So just remember that whenever we discuss salaries for potential national team managers here in the United States. A good time to remind you, ESPN FC is chugging along throughout the rest of the summer, 7 days a week here on ESPN+. Don't miss a single episode with Dan, Kay, and the rest of the crew as they take you on through the European Championships.